It is time for us to discuss back in 2019. I was at the peak of my WoW fandom, playing more WoW than ever, and I would continue to for years after. And Asmongold was one of my go-to favorite creators, maybe my go-to favorite creator for while I was playing World of Warcraft. Though he eventually started to get a little insane politically, he stopped playing WoW and honestly kind of stopped playing games altogether. Though he still does occasionally game, it's mostly commentary now and reaction videos. He started to go pretty hard right-wing. Not just the occasional conservative-leaning take that made me cringe, but like really trying to appeal to a right-wing audience. And he's had progressively more and more vile takes to try and go viral over the years. A good example being one that he just put out literally yesterday, that a channel called Dolan Darkest made a video on. I'm pretty sure this is like a glazing God damn it. I'm pretty sure this is a glazing Asmongold video, but regardless, it'll probably give a little bit of insight into the kind of persona Asmongold has created for himself over the last few years.
Welcome back to Slop Live. Today's Slopic, Asmongold has come under fire once again. In a Twitter post about underachievers being treated similar to high achievers, Asmongold responded saying, "Society would instantly and dramatically improve if we took the bottom 5 to 10% most retarded kids out of school and put them in the coal mines instead." Now, this went about as well as you could expect. One tweet saying Asmongold wants to send his viewers to the coal mines, getting 41,000 likes, and Hassan replying saying Asmongold would be in the mines if such a scheme was implemented. And to be fair, the coal mines are probably cleaner than Asmongold's bedroom. XQC replied to this saying he isn't referring to mentally disabled children, but unintelligent ones, and saying putting actually mentally disabled children in a coal mine would, I assume, endanger them. You are misreading obvious dialogue cues for public approval. Leading to someone making this meme about XQC in response.
So real. XQC in 2023. I stopped using the R word because I met a disabled fan and want to respect them. XQC in 2025. R word doesn't mean mentally disabled. Put them in the mines. Don't touch a Tesla or I'll cry. To be fair, R word does not mean mentally disabled. But, yeah, he has completely, like, it is so blatant, you know? Like, in 2019 and 2020... all these streamers were going like so woke, you know? They were all doing this like virtue signaling, like I'm left leaning, I'm learning about socialism bit. And now they're all like going right wing and they're like virtue signaling they're conservative. Like they flipped from chuddy to, oh, I've grown up, I've matured, I've learned, to back to chuddy again. And it's like, are they going to go back to being like quote unquote mature once things stop being as socially conservative? Makes you think.
And this is what he had to say about it.
I stopped using our because disabled fans respect them. How does it mean mentally disabled?
Okay, I forgot that if I do an impression of XQC, it's very important that you absolutely cannot understand what he's saying.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, facts.
So if I just start speaking like Glep from Smiling Friends, will I become like one of the biggest streamers on the internet, just like XQC? Is that how it works? I think that's how it works. Anyway, speaking of being one of the biggest streamers on the internet, our boy Asmongold, you know, following his grift that honestly knocked me off his content, has blown up so large that he is now the #1 most watched streamer on all of Twitch. And this is just his YouTube right here. This is just his Asmongold TV YouTube channel, sitting at a cool 3.55 million subscribers. With every video he uploads, pulling a minimum of 1 million views in about a week or a few days. So he absolutely is not hurting on YouTube either. Asmongold's presence has grown to genuinely unbelievable sizes over the last few months as he's gotten more radically right-wing. And he's now the #1 most watched streamer on Twitch. Yes, he is. He is now the king of Twitch. There are streamers that technically stream less hours and get less views, but if they streamed as many hours as him and kept the same momentum, they would outperform him. But he streams the hours and gets the views necessary to hit that #1 spot. What can I say? Among internet gamers right now, this is the kind of stuff people want to see. And if you're wondering what I mean by that, here's one of his more recent videos. It's called... There we go. It's called Student Attacked for Wearing a MAGA Hat. Let's see if Asmongold makes it about how, oh, these poor Trump supporters, they're so, oh, poor them, oh, they're victims, oh my God, political violence. The left just loves political violence. Let's see. Let's see what kind of commentary has propelled Asmongold to the #1 position on all of Twitch.
Instructor caught on camera attacking an Indian student wearing a MAGA hat.
Pullman is farm country and is home to Washington State University, a campus that's focused on academic excellence and is supposed to be welcoming to diverse values and ideas.
But
So I was walking like this, my head down.
That's why
He's watching a TPUSA video, dude. He's literally watching a TPUSA video posted to his subreddit.
Jay Sonny says he never imagined his political leanings would make him a target.
Patrick just
I could have imagined that.
probably hates Trump.
Oh my
After a
God,
long day
dude.
at work, the WSU junior says he got ambushed and jumped by Patrick Mahoney and Gerald Hoff.
Patrick, rip the hat off my head.
Like, it's just him sitting there watching conservative propaganda, pretty much. That's it. He just sits there, he watches conservative propaganda, and he doesn't generally have anything to say unless it's meant to be bait that goes viral on Twitter, meant to be as awful as possible, that triggers, like, all the libs on Twitter and gets the conservatives on Twitter rallying behind him. He's found the perfect grift.
For wearing this bright red Trump cap.
He said to me, "Go get it, bitch," or punched me a bunch of times on the back.
Sonny says they unleashed a vicious beatdown, all caught on surveillance.
Oh, so they have camp, because like I was thinking about like, okay, so like did this shit happen, right? But they got a video of it.
Cameras right in front of the Coug, a popular campus bar packed with students.
Gerald also kicked
was
me
a teacher?
also a bunch of times too.
What?
Patrick,
See, this is the thing, is like nowadays, like if a crime happens, there's more angles for it than there were on the fucking, like, this is like a Hollywood movie.
he grabbed my
professors?
chest, I slammed it on the concrete as I was falling.
He
Okay.
tried to defend himself,
So I had to go throw my food at his face.
but Sonny says 2 against 1 was just unfair.
And I was like, what the hell just happened?
And the melee left him with multiple scrapes and bruises.
Because of this, yeah.
Pullman police eventually found the pair nearby within hours of the chaos.
I've seen this guy campus before. I know.
I mean, obviously you shouldn't, like, assault people in public, but still. I mean, this is, it's all meant to be like, boo-hoo, woe is me. Trump supporters are a literally persecuted class. That's what they're trying to push.
Oh, he's like being like right-wing dude.
Mahoney and
I love how like, he's like trying to explain it as if it makes any sense. It's like, yeah, bro, so I saw this guy, and like his hat, bro, it just made me so fucking mad, man. And I just, dude, because you know how he is, right?
Literally saw red. He thought he was talking to a Reddit mod. This is what it's like living in a blue state.
pretty much
Reading the
admitted to the
chat.
allegations,
I like grabbed his hat, threw it, and I said like, go get it. We did grab him and bring him to the ground.
but tried to downplay the incident.
I didn't hit him. I don't think I did something illegal, right?
I don't think I did something fucking illegal, right?
He's just right-wing Sniper Wolf at this point. No. Sniper Wolf was way worse than this. Let's not muddy up history, okay? But regardless, he really doesn't have much of value to say. He is purely just playing to an audience of people, and I need to emphasize this so strongly. One of the most fundamental differences I've learned between the left and the right is that people who are progressive have lives. More often than not, they have lives. Most people that are left-leaning have lives. The ones that don't exist online, right? And most conservatives don't have lives. They don't have anything interesting going on. Very few do. And so they are very heavy with their online presence. And this means that if you want to make easy money as like a figure online, pandering to a conservative audience of people that never leave their room and are always on chan boards and forums and live streams is a very effective strategy. The problem is there is not a similar opposite area, even if you're doing like honest content from a progressive perspective. And it's not because left-wing content is bad. It's because people on the left have lives. They go and they go on dates. They hang out with their friends. They don't spend their whole day on the internet watching political content that agrees with them. And that's good, but it's also got the drawback of, you know, people like Asmongold. You know, I see people saying, how does this guy pulling so many views? How is he now the #1 streamer? This guy who used a dead rat as an alarm clock because the smell would wake him up in the morning. How is this guy real? How is he getting so many views? The fact is, it's because he is appealing to an audience of people who have a community online. They have a community, conservatives do, on the internet, and it is massive and strong, and the left doesn't have anything even close to that. That's why someone like Asmongold can get so big and become so rich and so influential.
Now, I'm not going to say that we should send a person like this to El Salvador.
Dude.
But I will say that I would rather a person like this get sent to El Salvador than a random cherry picker that's an undocumented immigrant. I would rather it be him.
Dude, the ultimate centrist. The ultimate centrist. Like, this is what I mean when I say, by the way, that, like, this is the type of centrist opinions that people have, where it's like, this is when I talk about, like, people are going to get frog boiled on things getting crazier. Like, yeah, they're sending immigrants to, and people who aren't even given due process to El Salvador and to Guantanamo. They're just going to talk about it casually like, don't get sent to Guantanamo, don't get sent to El Salvador. They aren't taking it seriously, and people like Asmongold are chief examples of this. Like, it's just a meme. Politics and life is just a big old meme.
That's just me. Sorry.
Something illegal, right? It's unwanted touching. It's unwanted touching. I don't know what that is, right?
In fact, Mahoney tried to victim blame.
He wanted to fight. He got what's coming
He
to him.
wanted to
The
fight. He
officers
got
did-
what was coming to him, for sure. After you just explained how his hat made you mad. Well, you see, the hat made me mad.
Didn't buy that story and arrested them on the spot.
You have the right to an attorney if you cannot afford one.
They're now facing 4th-degree misdemeanor assault charges.
See, the thing is that this country, was also built.
It's insane.
Like, the right literally has relatively high production value, like a cops TV show, basically, dedicated to videos of progressives and left-leaning people and Democrats getting arrested for crimes against conservatives. So that, like, they can get together and laugh at liberals getting arrested. Like, they have a basically cops show about that. And that's what we're watching right now. That is what the right has going for them online right now.
So you have white people beating up brown people, again, to, I'm sure, fight against racism. This is so stupid. How does this happen? I know beating people would be illegal, but I decided this is some fucking right-winger. Yeah. I hope they go to jail. I do. I would be told, let's let out 2 guys. All right, let's say you're selling weed. You get to go. You get to go. It's not a big deal. Listen, I don't want to pay. Like, that's not, who cares?
The chat's like spamming libtards or whatever if you can't see. This is a good peek into like the absolutely nonsense politics of the average gamer bro online. His politics are genuine nonsense. He loves Trump, he loves tech bro oligarchy, but he hates corruption in politics, but he hates that people get arrested for weed and the drug war, but he's also pro-Republican because anti-woke, but he doesn't have any real politics. It's all just meant to pander to what is the popular bandwagon take right now on any given issue.
Like, let's let them out, and we're gonna put these other 2 guys in. Yeah, it's Easter. Yeah, it's Easter. I think this would be a great celebration. Yeah, it's a good trade. Yeah, why not? Swap them out. If the hate crime is punished harshly, why not political violence? I think violence. So I actually do think this might be controversial with a lot of people, But I do think that in the same way that there's a difference between murder and manslaughter with intent, I do think that hate crime should be criminalized more harshly than a baseline crime, because like
his politics make no fucking sense. This is what I mean. Like, it's clear that like issues that are somewhat like well settled in the cultural zeitgeist, and the left is kind of socially won the you know, the marking on the rope of the political tug of war there. He'll generally lean left, you know, so you'll be surprised by some random left-leaning take. But on anything that's considered a current culture war issue, he's just following the bandwagon. And once you look at everything that he says through that lens, it becomes really obvious how correct that is.
There's an additional level of intent that's attached to it, but I also think that those hate crimes should extend to political violence as well. Harsher? Yes, exactly. And so, like, yes, I agree. I think that if you're committing crime and violence in the name of a political goal, that's worse than just committing violence as a baseline.
Why?
Hate crime equals violent crime.
Well, I
for
mean,
no reason. Well, I don't know about that. Yeah, wanting to do it makes it different. Yeah, exactly. That's terrorism, isn't it? Maybe, right? People call hate crime all the time.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, someone corrects him saying, I think that already is a crime. I think it's called terrorism. When you're trying to, like, when you commit a violent crime for, like, political messaging, that's terrorism. And he says, yeah, maybe, and immediately moves on. This is how he avoids getting called out or corrected on things, by the way. He doesn't really confront when he's wrong. He'll really turtle up when that happens.
Agree with every time that somebody calls it a hate crime. I'm saying that I think it's a good rule to have, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, I think that's normal. Like, of course, wow, a law has been abused before. Okay, well, let's get rid of laws. Well, this is a hate crime towards a belief, in my opinion. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm still against it.
Hate crime against a belief.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's pretty much the same thing.
His fans are brain dead as
he doesn't know
fuck.
Hoff, but his prior interactions with Mahoney may have played a role in this assault, since the two are at opposite ends of the political spectrum.
Patrick said, I'm a communist because the system fails people.
Sonny is...
It's like a fish that lives in the water that says, man, I'm a bird. No, you're not. You are... How do you think the university gets money? How do you think that you exist in society? It's amazing, like, how these people think that they're communists and just shit. What are you talking about?
a Republican and volunteer.
Is he saying that the students can't be communists because they literally exist in a capitalist society? Is he literally doing that argument? Like, being a communist is an ideology. This is actually one of the frustrating things about this terminology and why it probably needs to be developed more, is that to be a capitalist can mean to ideologically agree with capitalism, but it can also mean to be a capitalist, someone who has invested capital into something, some kind of business or whatever, and now, you know, receives a payment back for it, right? Like a business owner. So there's capitalists ideologically, and then there's literal capitalists, right? But there isn't communists ideologically, and then like the occupation of communist, you know what I mean, right? Like, or the role of communist. It doesn't, there's not like a thing on the other side of that, as far as I'm aware. So the terminology probably needs to be developed a little bit more. But no, to be a communist does not mean to literally live in a commune, I guess. Maybe that is what communist originally meant, to live in a commune. But nowadays we typically use capitalist, communist, more or less interchangeably to mean someone's ideology, not the society they live in or the way they interact. Also, you can't be a communist in a capitalist society unless you make a commune out in the woods and live off the land.
Volunteers with conservative groups on campus like Turning Point USA.
Can you tell me about Patrick?
He seems like a nice dude.
Mahoney is a WSU graduate student and instructor, teaching a freshman-level political science class.
So let me get this straight. The person who initiated physical violence based off of a political reason is a instructor at the university for freshmen in political science. Now, I want to say that this literally hits every single stereotype and every single fearmonger point that you have. Like, this is a perfect royal flush. It's crazy, and he's a communist.
His beliefs in...
By all accounts, Mahoney...
I need you guys to see the chat. The chat is so brain rot. I need you guys to be able to see his live stream chat right below me here.
Easy, and he's a communist.
his beliefs. And
By all accounts, Mahoney is a notorious far-left activist.
of course, I'm gonna think you are beyond it.
Someone in the chat said education is a scam. Dude, it's like, this is just the most... What I found is like your Joe Rogans, your Asmongolds, their success is because they're very unimpressive people who, despite the fact they're unimpressive people, they succeed, and their success is self-fulfilling. The more successful they are, the more successful they get. And it feels as though their success opens them up to a fuller understanding of what the bandwagony thing to say or do is, to chase more of that clout and success. It's like an endlessly feeding cycle for people like Joe Rogan and Asmongold, and their primary attraction to most people seems to be how unimpressive they are as people, you know? Like, Joe Rogan is not particularly smart, neither is Asmongold. You know, they are not qualified in any particular way to talk about these topics. It's just they like that somebody just as dumb as them has become so successful talking about these topics and says the opinions they have. It feels validating to them. Exactly, they put mediocrity on a pedestal. Very good way of putting it, Alexander Wooten.
Insane.
Who hates conservative values and is a regular at pro-Hamas protests in the...
God, can't we do something about this? We gotta feel like, can we put him in jail or something? Like, see, this is the thing, right? Is like, we already have this jackass in our country, and we have to deal with him because of the freedom of speech, First Amendment. We gotta fucking deal with this asshole, right? This is the whole reason why I was like, we don't need to import more of these retards. We already have enough of these retards here ourselves. We already have enough of these that we can't even deal with the ones that we already have. Please stop bringing in new ones.
City.
Almost 30,000.
It's actually, like, wild how much we've gotten to the point now where people just want to ruin families, break up families, lock down our country, and go full isolationist because of videos of people on college campuses. And they're like, we need less of these retards in our country. This is how the Americans who voted for Trump think, and this is how they talk. This is how the normies got radicalized to MAGA. This is how they think now. This is the type of media they consume that got them to this point. And you'll notice the entire fundamental point of all of it is hating the left, that the left is evil, the left is bad. Funnily enough, it's like the left are the new Nazis, right? That's the whole idea. Is like, who's the best, most go-to punching bag in any conversation? Progressives, communists, left-leaning people.
Gazan civilians have been killed.
Recently, he was part of a group pressuring the Pullman City Council to pass a resolution calling for a ceasefire in Gaza, but that went nowhere.
To support the revolution. Support the resolution.
Workers everywhere are rising up.
Sani says Mahoney has strong ties to the Democratic Socialists of America, progressive pro-labor groups, and is someone who publicly touts his admiration for the...
Oh, pronouns?
Yep.
Pink hair?
Who publicly touts his admiration for the Communist Party. Look at the hammer and sickle pin he's wearing in this official school photo.
Mahoney's goal is to turn this country into a communist dictatorship where...
Can we have a system where we take people that are big fans of these other countries and we have like a civilian or a citizen exchange program where we can exchange them for people in other countries that are better Americans? And like, it would be voluntary, right? So like, can we get like an Iranian or somebody
Now, so he's pro-immigration, but only if they're conservative.
like that? Like, I know plenty of great
An Iranian, by the way. Can we get an Iranian? Can we have a system set up with the country of Iran, a U.S. government in Iran? You know, we just set up a system. We just trade citizens, you know? This is how fucking stupid you have to be the #1 streamer on Twitch. The biggest political commentator on the internet. This is how stupid you have to be. No, Asmongold. For some reason, I have a feeling that Iran and the U.S. would have a hard time sitting at the table to come up with a system like that. You know, just for the sake of you using Iran as an example. I have a feeling.
Iranians. Can we just get one of them and bring one of them over here, and then like we can send him over there? Or like Cubans. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of great Cubans. I feel like this is...
Yeah, they just want Yeah, Cubans are based. Yeah, they just like Cubans because Cubans are so conservative. Let me tell you, I grew up in Florida. A lot of Cubans there. They have great music. They make great food. I love their accents. I hate their politics. Cubans are some of the most reliably Republican voters you will ever find. The closer to having come from Cuba, the more guaranteed. If they're, a few generations in, less likely so. But the boomer Cubans, oh boy, are they right wing. So yeah, a lot of conservatives in the chat, they love the Cubans because bringing in Cuban immigrants would mean a lot more. Well, assuming they vote, would mean a lot more conservative votes, or it just means more conservatives in general.
See, we have the gold card, but what about the gold exchange? The North Koreans, yeah, exactly. Like, they don't want them. The funny part is that you're right. None of these other countries would agree to that because they're like, no, you're not going to take our good citizens and replace them with your retards. No, you don't know. You're not going to ship your retards over here. Absolutely not. It's like us shipping like fucking radioactive fucking depleted uranium over there. Like, no, it's a really good idea. Yeah, I don't know why we can't have a citizen exchange program for this. It'd be a great idea. This is how Australia was started. Well, no, I mean we weren't really bringing anybody back from there. It's just that they just got dropped off.
It reminds me a lot of 2016 again, where it's all about how like you're retarded and you're cringe if you care and you're progressive, Like it's just funny because like we always waver between these two eras, right? Where the internet's more progressive and people like Asmongold are towing the line of like he's not saying retarded or whatever, right? And then you've got eras like this where like the left are the ultimate punching bag, and you can see he just follows the tide whichever way it may go.
Citizen default, yeah, nobody wants them. You offer like reduced tariffs. It's a 100-to-1 rate, a 2-for-1. So wait, they get two of
like his commentary is such nonsense. Like, guys, I'm not the only one like who sees this, right? Like there's nothing of value here. It is just bewildering to me that this is what 1 million people in the last week decided to sit down and watch for a whole half hour, dude. 1 million people sat down and watched this in the last 7 days for like a whole half hour, presumably. A fair amount of them. CNN and MSNBC won't report this. The same people who would do this are the same who cry about fascism. The irony. A liberal being intolerant, color me surprise. Assaulting someone due to their differing beliefs sounds like a hate crime. Well, there you go, guys. Not a hate crime if you assault a trans person because they're trans, but it is a hate crime if you knock a guy's MAGA hat off or whatever. Oh my god. It's content for low IQ, politically disengaged normies. I know, but it's like, how do we reach these people? How do we reach these people and they want you to just like puke gruel into their ears? Like, what do you do, man? What do you do? You know what? If you watched this far into the video, to let me know that you did, I want you to comment down below when this goes out on YouTube. Asmongold, wake up. You can pretend you're the dead rat, and you just say, Asmongold, wake up. Asmon, wake up. You just put that in the comment section. And of course, leave a like and subscribe if you want to support me even further. It really does mean a lot and helps immensely. I really do appreciate it. And of course, if you want to see more from me on other platforms, you can follow my social medias, linked down below in the description. I highly recommend you join my fan Discord, as it's the main hub of my community and fan base, and it's actually where I host gaming events, call-in streams, watch parties, and all sorts of cool like live events there. I announce all my new uploads and streams too, so you won't miss anything. Make sure you join the Discord, link down below like I said. And if you want to support me directly, financially, to help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, StreamElements, Patreon, or buy some custom Xander Hall merch through the Streamlabs link down below in the description. Regardless of how you support me, though, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, have a good one.